There's a tremendous theory going
I
around
saw
that
somebody told me this morning, and it's the first I'd heard of it because I don't go on the internet. So I was sort of fascinated by that.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. Use it carefully.
now that friends and family are able to start seeing this movie, what are some of the questions you anticipate hearing from them, and do you think you will have the answers to those?
I've already had a few phone calls from family in Australia and my friends in the UK. The questions I get are usually kind of I've actually had different questions from every person. It's sort of like a different piece of the puzzle needs to fall in differently for every person. And some of them are sort of, I don't want to give anything away spoilers wise, but some of them are sort of like, so when he's standing there, is that or is that? And usually I can answer those questions. Or when that happened, which direction and why? And so I usually, although some of them have really made me think, because we made this a little while ago, so some of them I've had to say, let me call you back. So that's
can you text Chris at that point and say,
speed
clarify
dial.
this?
Yeah.
The relationship between Kat and the protagonist is a really important one. And again, dancing around spoilers. I'm curious how you interpret why the protagonist is so invested in Kat's journey throughout this and her survival throughout this story.
I think that she symbolizes something for him. I think that she's symbolic of a very sort of particular piece of what we have and the potential of what we can be as a species. And it sounds like a really epic thing to say, but I think that she symbolizes something along the lines of a very pure kind of love and the exchange of that and the kind of sacrifice of that. And also her relationship to her child. And I think that that represents, again, something very heightened and symbolic for him. It's another layer, it's potential. And I think that that's what he invests in.
I love that you mentioned Kat's child. There's a tremendous theory going around.
I saw somebody told me this morning, and it's the first I'd heard of it because I don't go on the internet. So I was sort of fascinated by that.
Okay, so any truth to it at all? Or are you dismissing it outright? Or?
My lips are sealed. I say nothing in either direction.
I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun how people play along with stories.
I love that. I actually really love that.
Well, I've seen too much. Well, we'll try and keep up.
All right. So I have heard you say in earlier interviews that you had to rely on your co-stars, Robert and John David, to especially carry you through a lot of the physicality and some of the stunts that were performed in the movie. And I'm just curious, what's the one scene that when you read it on the page, you said to yourself, look, I don't care how talented you are, Christopher Nolan, we are just not going to be able to pull that one off.
I mean, literally 5 just came to my mind. I think in size, crashing the plane into the building was I read that and I think I unconsciously assumed that would be VFX, but it was not. We stood on the tarmac and watched that happen. But I think that for me, the sequence, the car chase sequence and the complexity of that and knowing I was going to be involved in that, I've just never done anything like that. And we shot that sequence for about 3 weeks, and building every sort of second of it on screen was a mammoth directorial accomplishment, to be honest. And when I watched it, even though I was a part of it, when I watched it, it was almost the first time I truly understood what was happening, to be honest. And I know that I'm not alone in that because I've spoken to Rob and JD about this, and Rob made me laugh the other day saying that sometimes we would do a take and he would be looking in the wrong direction for half the take. And, you know, we were just, it's shooting a Nolan film is absolutely mental gymnastics, constantly.
You have no idea what you're getting yourself into if you go through that door.
It's slow motion when I dance.
Well, I'm going, so any tips will be welcome.